The film opens with a scene at sea. A ship has been destroyed and a woman is struggling to swim to safety on a stormy night. Just then, a man swims towards her and has her board his ship. However, Captain Danglars is unhappy with his man, whose name is Edmond Dantès. Danglars berates Edmond for saving the woman and confiscates a letter from Napoleon from her. The next morning, the ship arrives at a port in Marseille, and the woman asks Danglars for the letter, but he refuses. As she gets off the ship, she thanks Edmond for saving her and introduces herself as Angèle. Later that day, Edmond and Danglars are summoned by their boss, Monsieur Morel. Much to Danglars' surprise, Morel dismisses Danglars for refusing to save Angèle and hands the position of captain to Edmond. Danglars leaves the room furiously, and Edmond is stunned that he is now captain. Edmond rushes to his home to Marseille to inform his parents of his promotion, especially his father. He meets a young woman named Mercedes in a barn who so happens to be his betrothed. Later at dinner, Edmond's best friend and cousin to Mercedes, Fernand, offers a toast to honor his friend's promotion. The next day, Edmond, Mercedes, and Fernand go out to sea on a boat. There the two break the news to Fernand that they plan on marrying, and he is shocked. He hugs the two of them. However, he is heartbroken, as he is also in love with Mercedes. Soon after, the day of Mercedes and Edmond's wedding arrives. Before the priest can begin the ceremony, a group of armed soldiers arrives and arrests Edmond. Everyone in the church is confused. Fernand attempts to intervene, though the soldiers state the order to detain Edmond has come from high up. Edmond is dragged away after he reassures Mercedes that he will be back soon. A man named Gerard introduces himself as the prosecutor when Edmond arrives at his office, showing him a note from Napoleon found in his Bible. Edmond tries to assure him that the note is not his. The note is Angèle's, which Danglars confiscated after her rescue. Edmond is taken back into custody, while Fernand arrives to speak to Gerard. The prosecutor asks him if he believes that Edmond could do such a thing, and Fernand betrays his friend and condemns him. Danglars is outside and is a key player in this plot. Later that night, Gerard arrives to find his secret pregnant Victoria in distress. She informs him that his sister, Angèle, has come to see him. Angèle is furious with Gerard that he is trying to imprison Edmond. However, she sees straight through him and is aware that his true goal is to divert any attention from himself that may lead to his affair with Victoria being revealed. Angèle states she will free Edmond, but before she can leave, she is attacked by her brother. Edmond spends a significant time in a cell, which is more of a hole in the ground with a caged roof. One day, he sees light coming from a crack in the wall and hears a voice. The voice is of Abbe Faria, a fellow prisoner in the cell next to Edmond's. The two of them begin speaking, and are even moved together in the same cell. They only have each other for company, and begin devising a plot to escape. Several years have passed, and the two prisoners have become good friends. They have begun digging into the wall to escape. One night, Faria reveals he is the pupil of one of the Knights Templar who was guarding some treasure. Faria informs Edmond of the treasure's location, though Edmond is skeptical. That night when the two of them are digging, an accident occurs, and Faria is buried. Edmond gets him out but is devastated as Faria has died. Later, the guards notice Faria is not moving and realize that he has passed. Before they can transport his body, Edmond hides in the body bag. He is eventually cast in the water, finally free. Edmond arrives back at his family home in Marseille, now unrecognizable from the man he was. He is informed that his father has passed. Edmond is devastated and leaves to search for the treasure Faria spoke about, which he eventually finds and obtains vast wealth. After this, Edmond seeks out Angèle, who was sold into prostitution by Gerard. She is now succumbing from syphilis and informs Edmond that he should go seek out a boy named Andrea. She reveals how she once escaped after her brother sold her into captivity and arrived at a mansion where he was staying with Victoria. Gerard did not want his affair with Victoria to be revealed, so after their child was born, he buried him alive. However, instead of taking her revenge, Angèle rescued the baby, who grew up to be Andrea. Edmond ends up meeting Andrea in the boy's hostel where he is staying, informing the lad that his aunt asked him to come see him. Andrea is confused about what the man wants, and Edmond explains that he wants to take revenge on those who have wronged the both of them. Before heading back to his mansion, Edmond also takes in a girl named Heidi, who happens to be the daughter of a Turkish royal who was betrayed and murdered by Fernand. The three head back to the mansion, where they lay out their plan for vengeance. Elsewhere, Mercedes is in a carriage with Fernand. The two of them are now married and have a teenage son named Albert. Suddenly, a thief snatches Fernand's military medal, and Albert rushes off to chase him. However, it is a trap, and when Albert reaches a dark alley, he is attacked by many thugs. Just then, a man dressed in black armed with a gun scares off the thugs and rescues Albert. The man is Edmund, and this is planned by him. The next day, Albert and Fernand arrive at a mansion that belongs to a man calling himself the Count of Monte Cristo. The Count's true identity is Edmund, who is wearing a mask to hide his identity. Fernand thanks Edmund for saving his son and ends up inviting him for a hunt with 2 friends, which he accepts. Meanwhile, Albert is wandering around the mansion until he stumbles upon a girl singing a song. He is immediately enchanted by her, unable to avert his gaze. Suddenly, Edmund arrives, and Albert apologizes for staring at his wife. Edmund corrects him, stating that Haydée is his goddaughter. Albert quickly asks if he could introduce him to her, and Edmund agrees, but warns that she may hurt him. Again, Edmund had planned for Haydée to enchant the young Albert. The next day, Edmund, accompanied by Andrea, whom he introduces as an Italian prince, meets Fernand, who is with Gerard and Danglars. The 2 other men are very impressed by Edmund as the Count, keen to befriend him because of his wealth. The men are headed for the hunt, and Danglars is the one who fires first to injure it. Andrea offers to land the finishing blow, watching his father Gerard as he does so. Danglars is impressed by the young man. After the hunt, Andrea meets Danglars' daughter Eugénie, whom Edmund has asked Andrea to get close to. Unbeknownst to Eugénie, Andrea is her half-brother, the son of her mother, Victoria. Edmund is conversing with Danglars and Gerard when Fernand approaches him to introduce him to his wife. As soon as Mercedes sees the Count, she is stunned into silence. She quickly exits the room, breathing heavily, questioning her son on how he came to meet the man. Edmund is invited to a party where he spends his time gambling with his 3 targets. Meanwhile, Albert and Andrea have struck up a friendship, and Haydée continues her enchanting of Fernand's son. At the table, Danglars speaks of an English shipping rival named Lord Halifax. Edmund states he knows the Lord very well, and that they are sworn enemies. Over the next few days, Albert and Haydée begin spending more and more time together. Edmund notices this, and after Albert leaves, he reminds Haydée that they are doing this for their revenge. Haydée replies that she is well aware and storms off. Sometime shortly, Edmund invites Gerard, Danglars, Fernand and their spouses for dinner at a new mansion he has purchased. Gerard and Victoria are particularly uneasy, as it is the same mansion where the 2 of them had their baby, which Gerard believes he buried alive. Edmund tells his guests a ghost story, stating that he believes the house is haunted by the spirit of a child. The Count explains that he thought the story was nonsense until he stumbled upon a casket in the yard. Everyone goes outside as Edmund displays the casket Angèle found Andrea in. However, much to Gerard and Victoria's relief, the casket is empty. Later, Gerard meets with the Count's supposed nemesis, Lord Halifax. Gerard probes him for information on the Count's true identity, but unfortunately for him, Lord Halifax is also Edmund in disguise. Lord Halifax explains that the Count was in India before he came to Monte Cristo, and this is enough for Gerard to drop his suspicions. Edmund arrives at a party with Haydée and Andrea. Fernand and his family are also in attendance. Albert is eagerly awaiting Haydée's arrival and is delighted to be spending more time with her. As Edmund is left on his own, Mercedes approaches him and asks if they can speak, which he agrees to. The 2 of them take a walk. Now alone after so many years, however, Edmund doesn't give away his identity. Mercedes questions him on his past, and Edmund answers while not giving too much away. However, their conversation is cut short. Sometime shortly, Danglars stumbles on a deal to buy a fleet of ships for a very good price. However, his rival bidder is Lord Halifax, and even with Gerard and Fernand, he doesn't have the money to compete. He then gets the idea that the Count may be willing to help crush his sworn enemy. Danglars heads off to meet the Count, accompanied by Gerard and Fernand. He asks the Count if he'd be willing to lend him the money for the fleet to beat his enemy, Lord Halifax. He even gives the Count an assurance that if he loses his money, he will pay him back interest. Edmund reluctantly accepts, however, this is also part of his plot. The next day, Danglars, along with his family, is in court to lay claim to Lord Halifax's ships. Edmund, Andrea, and Haydée are also in attendance. Gerard is acting as Danglars' lawyer. The judge asks whether any representative of Lord Halifax is present, and to Danglars' bewilderment, Andrea stands up and states he is Halifax's representative. However, when Andrea takes the stand, he has more to say. He reveals to the whole court that his true identity is that of Gerard's son, who is furious and denies the allegations. Andrea tells his story, and Victoria has tears in her eyes, realizing her son is alive and standing before her. Commotion takes over the court, and Danglars quickly exits, dragging Victoria along. Andrea walks over to Eugénie and apologizes for lying to his half-sister, but wishes her happiness. Meanwhile, Gerard is being taken away by several guards, as cheating on your spouse is a crime. However, Andrea calls out to him before stabbing him in the neck, informing his father that was for Angele. Andrea attempts to walk away but is shot by one of the guards. Heidi sees this and screams as Edmund watches on in shock. Heidi runs to Andrea, who is like a brother to her, and calls him stupid as he lies there, expiring. On his way out, Edmund runs into Danglars, who asks him for more time to pay him back. However, Edmund leans towards him and replies that everything Danglars owns is now his. A few days pass, and Edmund and Heidi are standing at Andrea's grave. Heidi is unhappy with Edmund, voicing her frustrations at how she and Andrea are just pawns in Edmund's revenge game. Edmund responds that Andrea was like a son to him as Heidi angrily storms off. Heidi writes a letter to Albert, apologizing and asking him to forget her. She plans on leaving Edmund and skipping town, heading far away, before she too meets the same end as Andrea. However, Albert does not accept this. He rushes over to the Count's mansion to see her. Heidi is shocked to see him, asking him to leave and forget about her. Albert responds that he cannot live without her, which makes Heidi ask him to promise her that he won't take his own life. Albert, with tears in his eyes, refuses this promise, so Heidi makes up her mind to run away with Albert. However, before they can do so, Edmund stops them. He informs Heidi that if she plans to run away with Albert, she must tell him the truth, or else he will. Heidi comes clean, admitting that she is the daughter of Turkish royalty, who had been murdered by Albert's father. She admits that she joined Edmund to take revenge on Fernand, and Albert is heartbroken. However, Albert is more angry with Edmund and throws his glove at him to challenge him to a duel. Later that day, Edmund is preparing for his duel when Mercedes arrives at the mansion. She reveals she knows his true identity and asks if he is planning to slay her son. Edmund is stunned into silence but then emphasizes that he wants his revenge against her husband, who ruined his life. Mercedes again pleads with Edmund to reconsider and takes her leave. During the duel, Edmund is granted the first shot against Albert as he is challenged. He takes his shot, and the scene cuts to Heidi running to Edmund's carriage as it arrives at the mansion. She angrily asks him if he slayed Albert, but is relieved to see Albert also come out of the carriage alive. Edmund walks back to the mansion, and Heidi stops him to thank him. Edmund gives her his blessing to live her life, and she embraces Albert. Elsewhere, a furious Fernand realizes that Mercedes has left him. He is now aware that the Count is his former friend, who he betrayed. He immediately heads for the mansion, sword in hand, demanding Edmund face him. Edmund gladly obliges, armed with his blade, heading straight for his former friend. The two engage in battle, and Edmund ends up falling. However, he soon recovers and manages to wound Fernand. The two continue fighting, and Edmund is also wounded. The fight ends when Edmund subdues Fernand, but chooses not to end him, instead demanding he leave. Fernand stays on the ground crying as he has lost both his wife and his son. In the near future, Edmund has now discarded the Count persona. He writes to Mercedes, expressing regret that they could not end up together, but hopes that their love can live on in their children, Heidi and Albert.